why the poor people cannot get food. This kind of situation should be modified, of course. We think the water is the same. If some people cannot get enough water and they cannot live the sufficient life, we think in this case this is serious for these people. That's why we think the water should be provided to every people. Moreover, we think in this case the target is the poor people. The poor people is not the self-responsibility. Not self-responsibility because the appearance of these people is very poor. It is very difficult for this person to get from this poor situation because they cannot get enough education, they cannot get enough health care. That's why it is very difficult to escape from the poor. That's why we think these people are the victim of that situation, or that current situation. That's why we think the water should be provided to every people equally. That's why this proposal is necessary. Okay, let me move on to second extension. Second extension is about how the poor people cannot get water. The mechanism of this situation. We think the company can use, if company want to use water, they can use as much as possible because the water's price is not so serious for company. It may be serious for the poor people. It's not so serious for company. The company have huge fund. That's why the company can use the water as they want to use. We think because of this situation, in status quo, the company don't have the motivation to spare water. Then they want to, they will use they are using the water as much as they want to use. In this case, the demand of water is very rapidly increasing because of company. In this case, because of that, the price of the water also increased. In this case, it is very severe for poor people because compared to the company, the money that poor people having is very low. That's why this is very serious to poor people. That's why poor people cannot get enough water. It's very serious for poor people. The poor people is not self-responsibility. We have to save these people. And last point about world view. Firstly, we say in developed country, the company using much water. After this proposal, this situation will be modified because firstly, company has motivation to spare water. And second, company will create a technology to spare water. In this case, the room will be happening in developed countries. This water can be used for developing countries. This is very serious because this is very important because the poor people cannot live without water, and industry or education cannot be, or health cannot be prepared without water. That's why we think this proposal is very important.
Thank you very much, member of the government. Now we welcome the member of the opposition to explain the case of the opposition.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we think that the government side is actually benefiting the rich and exploiting the poor. They talk about the problem of poor people. They lack the necessary resources for life, that is water. But we should ask, what is this problem coming from? It's wastefulness, but wastefulness for companies and wastefulness for those middle classes people. So we should bring this. We should talk about these two issues all together, and we're going to prove to you that if you only set a maximum amount of quota to the water usage, it's not going to lower the water usage. And if they can really trade the quota, then the total amount of water usage will not lower down. Then what's the purpose of this? Only a richer company gets the water, and the poor will still have no resources, no water for them to keep life. Now, I have a few rebuttals to make. Firstly, they keep on concentrating on this technology thing. They think that if we set a quota down there, then these companies will be motivated motivated to develop better technology, better saving water technology. But we're telling you, what's the situation now? It's global depression, and in a global depression time, especially considering that water is a necessary resources for nearly all kinds of industries, such as computer chips and other things. Then what's going to happen? You need a long time to develop a new technology. It's not going to develop by a day. So what will happen? During this time, they will be forced to close down. And maybe the rich company can survive, but those small companies, they're going to be all closed down. So you're actually benefiting the rich. Only they will get the water that you're talking about. And second, they said that the company would, because they would review their records, so there will be no corruption problem. But is that true? We know that companies, they can make fake reports, or they can do it privately. They can just go to a government official in a private meeting and they just stuck money in his pocket. That is a corruption problem. Why aren't you ignoring it? It can happen in lots of ways, and it can happen in the form of lobbying group. And these lobbying group that is on the surface not connected with these companies will go to the legislative body and then ask for more a higher quota of water usage. So now later I'm going to talk about my two extensions. The first is that the industrial development will be severely infringed in the current global depression, and the second thing is the effectiveness of the policy. The policy cannot lower the total usage of water and cannot solve the problem of wastefulness. Yes.
In our model, we have already told you that the government should establish a supervision system, and actually, if the problem is corruption, deal with the corruption. Our society has already had the legal system to deal with corruption.
Yeah, exactly. So it says, she sounds like all the legislators and all the supervisors, they will not take those money. They are very clear from those corruption things. They will never take money. That is not true. We're telling you they're human as well. And now, the first thing is later. Is the industrial competitiveness. We see that water is very important in various industries, like in Taiwan and South Korea, we produce computer chips and all the LDC, these kind of things, and chemicals. These are, we have to use a lot of water. So I don't understand why they are saying that these companies are wasting water. No, they are creating a lot of production and producing things and hiring the national revenue by local production. If they cannot export so much, then how can all economies survive in the current economic depression thing? So if you set a maximum production of maximum water usage, then it's going to actually limit the maximum of production. Because what if in this season this company can produce more? It has a lot of goods from other companies, and it's going to produce more. Then you're saying that no, because you only have this limit, so you cannot produce more, you cannot earn more. This is not justifiable. And if you do so, then you're going to harm the economic competitiveness. The national revenue will be decreased. And in our policy, we told you an alternative that is to heighten the water price. And what will that and what benefit will that bring us? If we heighten the water prices, that means if these companies they produce more, they earn more, then they're going to pay more back to the government. Then we can we put them on a fair ground, because for big companies, they earn more, so they pay more back because they use more water, and for small companies, maybe they just pay less. But in your situation, if you just set a maximum quota, and you can freely trade them with in a free trade system, then you're only getting the small companies forced to sell their quota to the big companies, and only the big companies can produce so much things, and only they can survive. Second is the effectiveness. effectiveness of this thing, we think that the maximum quota is not effective as well because it will only ensure that these companies, they will not exceed the maximum quota, but you cannot lower their usage. But the waste problem may can still happen, or they maybe before this company they produce only 93 products a month, but you said you give them a quota 100 a month, then they're never going to lower their water usage. Then how can we solve this problem of water shortage, which is stemmed from wastefulness, as the opening government has told us in the very beginning. So to solve the problem, we have told you that we need education. We need to tell these middle class who can stay in the bathroom for 30 minutes showering, waste a lot of water. Tell them to save some water for other people. They need education, and the more effective way is just to make the water price higher. If the water price higher, then the free market mechanism will decide the water usage you can use. So that we think that this is the effective way to lower to solve the wastefulness problem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, member of the government. Now we welcome the last speaker of the government bench. Government witness.
Water is essentially important for every single citizen to make a living. But unfortunately, because of their tendency of companies which is a profit seeker, the distribution is not enough in the circle. But after taking proposal, this water will be distributed equally for poor people or in people in poor country. That is the necessity of taking water. Government should be a decision maker, like a profit seeker. So using the uniqueness of profit seeker, we can achieve this kind of distribution after taking proposal. That is why we are very proud to propose this motion. Okay, before moving to comparison, I'd like to engage to the previous speaker. First of all, they said about the lobbyist group issue, because some kind of lobbyists try to negotiate with a politician, and so for some corruption or some unfair assessment will occur. First of all, we don't think so. Because